And I'm Heather Branch here with Abe asking for his ideas on what you can be getting to work on now as you're thinking about your retirement years. You're getting closer to that goal line in life. Of course, we got to figure out what to do as far as your income streams. You're going to leave working for the man or maybe sell the small business that you poured your heart and soul into for years and decades. So let's take those savings that you've worked so hard to gather together and make those savings work for you in your retirement years. Is what Abe and his entire team at Avish Financial Services are here to help you do. You can find us anytime, theretirementkey.com, or also click on the links we've got posted in the show notes, or again, our website, theretirementkey.com. So before we came on, I wanted to ask you, I said, should we talk about Spain a little bit? Because you've been living a summer of adventure, running 45 miles on your 45th birthday, traveling to Spain to see the running of the bulls.
That was an amazing
trip. Talk about your trip, yeah.
That was an amazing trip. Yeah, I just got back from Spain, and we were in San Sebastian for 4 or 5 days, which is just, I think, kind of a gem there in Spain and Europe in general. San Sebastian's right on the water, on the coast. There's mountains, there is countryside, wineries, farmland.
There's so much to do in Spain. It's one of those countries that's got a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Yes, you could definitely spend time in Barcelona, Madrid, Pamplona. So we went to Pamplona after San Sebastian. We were there during the running of the bulls. No, I did not run because I want to live.
Because you are a smart human.
I want to continue to live. And although a lot of people don't die, obviously you can get seriously injured and it's super risky. However, some of the guys that were in the group that I was a part of definitely ran. And I will tell you, it was the most intense thing I've ever been a part of in my life, just watching. So really? I can't imagine being down on that street with 7 or 8 1,000+ pound bulls coming at you. They run a mile in less than 4 minutes. They run a mile in less than 4 minutes. They are absolutely
how fast those bulls are moving.
Flying.
I didn't know that.
Flying with massive horns. And anything in their way, they will take down.
That's right.
So that was amazing.
Bulls. Aren't there about 10 bulls that are running in that pack?
Yeah, about.
Oh,
that was amazing to see, just all the culture there, the food and wine, so much food and wine in Spain. I mean, the Spaniards, they do it right. They do it right. That's all I'll say.
That's the thing. It's the Italians, and I love I have tons of Italian friends. The Italians get all this reputation for, it's like, no, go to Spain. They got it going on in Spain too.
I think they both do it right. But yeah, it was a fantastic trip, fantastic country, and I would highly recommend going if you have not been.
Put it on the bucket list.
Yeah.
Thinking about things that we want to do in this lifetime, add it to the list. Particularly, I mean, listen, I love that you are such an adventure person, because when it comes to retirement, you were talking to people every single day that it's like, you don't have to worry about the 9 to 5 anymore. What are all the things that you want to do? Have you made that list, that bucket? Where do you want to go? What do you want to see? Who do you want to spend your time with? That's what we're all looking and working towards in that goal, in that phase of life.
The bucket list has to continue into retirement. Matter of fact, why did you save all this money?
That's right.
What, to wait till 85 or 90 to pass it on? No, you don't want to
leave it all behind. Yeah.
Wait till your slow-go or no-go years to enjoy. You want to be enjoying it in your go-go years.
Yep.
When you're young and healthy and mobile and active and able to travel, able to knock off all these items on your bucket list. So we highly encourage that and get a lot of joy out of hearing people travel and, spend money, have the permission to spend, and know that it's going to be okay, that they have the right type of retirement plan that enables them to do so.
Well, let's talk about then getting down to the nitty-gritty and the work, the permission to spend, because the conversation, listen, we have so many conversations about taxes and how to plan better and how to work to keep more of your money. But there is a specific time frame that we are existing in right now. That clock is ticking on the Trump tax cuts, as so many people refer to it. And that tax cut, it's due to expire at the end of next year. So basically, if you want to take advantage of lower tax rates now, there's been the conversation about doing Roth conversions and working to convert your savings into this quote unquote tax-free money space.
Right.
And tax guru Ed Slott was telling Morningstar that many are skeptical because they think the government will try to tax Roths next. Here's what he was saying.
I'm going to give you the secret that Congress doesn't want anybody to know. Don't worry about it. Congress loves Roth IRAs. I mean, loves, addicted, that kind of love. It brings in money. It helps pay for everything else. So luckily for us, they're so short-sighted. Remember, the only money that can get in a Roth is already taxed money. So they look at the Roth IRA as a revenue source. So I don't think they're going to kill their golden goose.
That's an interesting perspective, Abe. I never actually thought about it that way, but it creates immediate income for the government.
That's right. That's right.
So let's talk about Roth converting then, because how much of a retirement nest egg should be converted to Roth before 2026, in your opinion? How do you advise your clients?
It all depends, Heather, right? Because everyone's situation's different. Everyone has different income amounts and types of income. And so you just want to run the numbers and come up with a strategy that's going to be most appropriate for you. I mean, look, you could be making $500,000. I might be making 100,000 a year. You could be making $1 million a year. And you could have various types of income that all impact each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's not a certain amount that's right for everybody. It may not be right for you at all. Matter of fact, if you are a high income earner, and I would say if the household is bringing in $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 or more, it simply might not be the right time for you because you're making so much money, which means you are in probably a higher tax bracket. And then if you add more income to your income picture by doing Roth conversions and tax planning, you might be hurting yourself more than maybe waiting until you retire. So, it all kind of depends. But I'll tell you, if you polled most people out there, most people would say or believe that taxes are going up. We're in almost $35 trillion of national debt as a country. And you can either worry about taxes later, or you can actually be proactive and create a tax strategy when it comes to your retirement dollars. Tax planning, tax strategy, Roth conversions, all the things around tax planning are one of the biggest reasons why people come and see us, because most people have enough saved, right? They have their $1 million to $3 million, $1 million to $5 million, sometimes more. So the amount of money is there, but if it's all in one tax bucket, that pre-tax bucket, it could be a serious tax challenge that reveals itself down the road when taxes probably go up.
Okay.
So the idea of tax planning and Roth conversions is something you want to pursue if you're concerned with taxes going up. And we just had a couple come in from Great Falls, Virginia. They're in their early 70s, done a fantastic job of saving $4 million.
Wow.
Accumulated and saved for retirement. They're already retired. $4 million. They're very conservative, low risk investors, but their biggest concern was that if taxes go up, and they're scheduled to, as you just mentioned, in 2026, that if taxes go up with all their money, almost all their money being in pre-tax accounts, how is that going to impact them as their RMDs go up and then the tax brackets and rates change? With fewer deductions in retirement, if tax rates and brackets go up, and then their income goes up at the same time because RMDs go up every single year, right, as you age and as those accounts grow, this is their concern. This is the reason they came in. $4 million, self-managed the $4 million in their entire lives, became clients simply because we as a firm can help them protect their assets better, not just from stock market downturns, which is the obvious, but if you think about all the risks that can mess up a great savings plan, tax risk is way up there if taxes go up. And that's probably the only way they can go is up. So if you don't have a tax plan and strategy around ways to lower and mitigate that tax risk, you're missing the ball, right? You're missing one of the biggest parts of a comprehensive and sound retirement plan. So we ran the numbers. We ran our tax mapping software. We put all their income into the software, showed them what different conversion amounts look like compared to their current, what we call base case. What is your current taxable situation and scenario compared to doing conversions? And what we found for them is that about $100,000 a year of Roth conversions makes the most sense. It doesn't bump them up into a higher bracket. They can pay for the tax bill, which is around $20,000 on that converted amount. And it's likely to save them maybe a couple $1,000s a year when taxes probably go up down the road. So if you're listening right now and you say, Abe, that sounds a lot like me. I'm here in the area, I've saved several $1 million. I've done it on my own. I've worked hard my entire life. I didn't win the lottery. I didn't play the lottery, but I worked for it. And I don't have tax planning strategy around my retirement dollars. And I want that. I'm looking for that. I'm concerned with taxes. Go to our website, theretirementkey.com. Click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we can get you that tax mapping report and analysis complimentary as well.
We also have links posted in the show notes. If it's more convenient, you can just go click there, or again, head to theretirementkey.com. cohost.com. All right. Taxes, one thing we have to think about in our retirement. Another huge concern for investors, no matter where you are in life, is the idea of your market risk, particularly even more so as you get closer to are already in retirement. A stock market bubble. Let's talk about that, because this is the conversation that we're hearing. Well, I feel like we've been having this conversation about market over the last several years. It's like, when will that other shoe drop?
Yep.
So that bubble happens when share prices increase rapidly beyond the value of companies. Financial author Harry Dent was telling Fox Business that we've been experiencing a run-up that might actually burst soon. Here's what he said.
This bubble's been going 14 years instead of most bubbles 5 to 6. It's been stretched higher longer, so you'd have to expect a bigger crash than we got in 2008 to 9. This thing has got to blow. It's showing signs of topping here, but we've got to see a crash of about 40%. I can tell you there has not been one bubble, and this is far larger and longer, one major bubble in history that has not ended badly, period.
Okay. Harry is a little bit dramatic. We don't like to fearmonger here.
Right.
However, we have been aside from that downturn we saw at the end of 2022, the market has been, for so many people, really, really great, Abe. So when bubbles burst, a lot of investors are often caught off guard. How are you working to help prevent folks that you are working with become, quote unquote, bubble victims?
With proactive planning in advance. Matter of fact, we call it in advance planning, right? Get out ahead, be proactive. We know a downturn, a correction is going to happen, right? Because usually 6 to 7 out of every 10 years the markets are up, 3 or 4 they're down. Usually, as Harry Dent said, 3, 4, 5 years the markets are up, then correction. Well, we've been on a significant run since 2008. Yes, we did have a setback briefly during COVID, then again in 22. That's because rates went up 7 times, right? Stock market doesn't like that. But now the markets have soared. They've hit all-time highs numerous times in 2024. And we all know what goes up must come down. We also know that we should be buying low and selling high. In other words, we should be taking some chips off the table when we've done really well, right? If you're gambling at the casino, you throw $100 down on roulette or blackjack and you're up 500, 1,000, the smart thing would be to put that extra 400 or 900 in your pocket and continue to play with the 100, or maybe simply walk away, right? And I'm not saying the stock market is a casino, but it can be like a roller coaster sometimes. And the roller coaster is going straight up right now. Yeah. And if it's going straight up, we're probably going to have a pullback at some point. And I don't know that I see a lot of trouble on the horizon in the near term. Like in the next 6 months, a year. I don't know that we see a lot of trouble because we should be anticipating and having a rate cut, should be, by the end of the year. The market should respond to that favorably. And inflation should be coming down to between 2 to 3% is what we're being told by some of the CFAs with the money managers that help us out. So, we don't see a lot of trouble in the near term. However, if the markets continue to go up, at some point the markets will correct. So how do we help people with that, especially people that are just about to retire, which is almost all of our clients, by putting together a proactive plan, which will get out in front of a big downturn and protect someone's life savings from losses, right? Some of someone's life savings should be totally principal protected. I'll give you an example. We just had a couple come in from Percival with $1.5 million saved. They're in their early 60s, retiring in the next 24 months. And as so many people come in, they're taking way too much risk on. They're a 9 on our risk scale. In other words, 90% in stocks. They want to come down to a 7 or 70% in stocks. So we do reduce their risk by 20%, put together a plan, protected 30% of their life savings from losses, totally removed from the stock market, principal protected. This is their quote unquote sleep insurance, their quote unquote added peace of mind. What's giving them more confidence, added confidence, right? By having more safety built in. Yes, we have 70% that's focused on growth, but we also have 30% now that is fully protected, principal protected, removed from the stock market. It's not going to earn or make near as much as the stock market will make, right? But slow and steady wins the race on that side of someone's life savings. Most people need a combination, Heather, of growth and protection in their retirement plan. That's how we help people get out in front of that. So if you sound like this couple from Percival, Virginia, you say, Abe, I've been taking on a lot of risk, doing really well in the markets, but I've been thinking about this a lot. I know I need to do something to kind of lock in some of these gains, take some chips off the table, protect some of my life savings as well. Go to theretirementkey.com. Click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we can get you that portfolio x-ray and analysis as well, complimentary.
We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there, or again, find us at theretirementkey.com.